Meet me. Alright, welcome back, boys, to Dr. Squirrel watching Epic 7 update video, so you don't have to. But the main reason I'm making this video is because this guy's super sexy, but also because there's a new ML unit in the game, and I don't know what this hero does yet, and we're going to find out together and find out if it's super busted or if it's ass tier. The artwork's pretty sweet. I think she looks pretty damn good. The name leaves something to be desired. I don't know. I feel like that's a really stupid name. Moon Bunny DOMINIEL? Like, what's next? Like, Solar Beaver Elson? Like, that's a stupid-ass prefix, but whatever. I guess this is her S3. We'll get to that later. I guess those are the Moon Bunnies. I guess I'm not really following the story. Is that an actual thing now? Holy shit, they are. That's horrifying. They're just heads. Where are their bodies? They're decapitated rabbits that she's throwing around her. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, well, Moon Bunny Dominiel, what is she? She's a light soul weaver. So, I mean, everyone knows regular Challenger Dominiel is a dark mage. The regular one's a blue mage. So now it's a soul weaver. So they're doing that thing where they completely change the class. Pretty fast. A lot of effect resist. Holy 50% base effect resist. So I guess it's going to be some kind of ER hero, obviously. So we're starting off the skill 2, so I'm guessing it's the most important part of her kit. Flow control. Increases effect resistance by... So what? She has built-in 70% ER? That's freaking nuts. At the start of an enemy's turn, grants immunity... No, at the start of an enemy's extra turn... So it only works against heroes with extra turns. Grants immunity and a barrier to all allies for 2 turns. Barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's max health. Immunity and barrier effects can only be activated once every 2 turns, and only activates when the enemy is a hero. I feel like this ability is probably going to be dog shit, but let's take a look. I want to see how it works in action.
Strength increases proportional.
Okay, let's see. It depends on the thickness of the barrier.
Immunity and barrier effects can only be activated once every 2 turns.
That's actually not a bad barrier. Okay. So it works fine against Conqueror Lilias. I think the problem with this ability is it doesn't cleanse. Now, if it cleansed, would it be a little busted? I mean, maybe. Like, I think it'd be pretty busted if this was just at the start of an enemy's turn, right? Because that's how I read it at first, but extra turn. Let's think of heroes that commonly have extra turns that are kind of meta right now. So we have Conqueror Lilias. So this works pretty decently against Conqueror Lilias, but if this is all she does, the rest of her kit better be good too. Against Peira. Peira's gonna open with an Unbuffable. This thing does not cleanse, so Unbuffable kind of poops on this, right? Doctor's Bag, maybe? Maybe you would put her on Doctor's Bag. I forget how Doctor's Bag works after they buffed it, but I guess with Doctor's Bag it might be okay, but... You know what, give me 1 second. I'm actually going to look up what Doctor's Bag does. Alright, never mind. I looked it up. Doctor's Bag won't even work because she needs to use a non-attack skill, and I'm guessing this doesn't even count as a skill from... It had no animation from what we saw. So yeah, the fact that it doesn't cleanse, like, Peira is just going to completely ignore this. Rand... He gives immunity to his team. That'll proc this, so they'll get immunity and barrier. But then Rand will... He strips right after, so he'll just remove all of it. Right? So, I don't think this works against Rand either, right? Am I... Oh god, my memory's so bad. I'm pretty sure Rand strips 2 buffs, right? And Peira is a 1-turn reduction. So... I think against 2 of the most common extra turn openers, this doesn't do anything. Conqueror Lilias, it works fine against. It works pretty well against something like Ida, actually. Ida won't be able to stun anything. I'm sure there are some other ones that I'm missing, but those are the main ones that come to mind for me. Conqueror Lilias, Peira, Ran, and Ida. And Ida's not that common. Like, Ida would be following up, you know, one of those other cleave initiators. So really just Ran, Peira, and Conqueror Lilias. And I feel like Conqueror Lilias is the only one it really kind of works well against. And even then, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. Okay, so let's look at the skill 3. In accordance, so this is a non-attack skill, so you can Doctor's Bag this, and she's pretty fast, and Soul Weavers still have the speed buff in RTA, so she can probably initiate. In accordance with the divinations, what? Increase attack of all allies for 2 turns and combat. Oh wait, is she like a cleave initiator then? Because what's the speed buff to Soul Weavers now? Like 7 or 8? They like nerfed it from before, but that still means she's really fast. Like 114 plus what, like 8, like, so she's a 120 plus base unit essentially. And she has a AoE CR push and attack buff. Let's take a look.
Attack of all allies for 2 turns, and combat readiness by 20%. Grants skill nullifier once to the caster.
Looks sweet. I like it. So actually her S3 is kind of nice. Skill 1 attacks the enemy through a moonwave, 50% chance. Soul burn cheap, 100% chance to sleep. Does not trigger dual attack. For those of you who don't know, pretty much every unit that sleeps on their S1 does not trigger a dual attack because they don't want you to sleep them and then immediately wake them up because that blows, right? So, okay. Now that we know her kit, what do I think of her? I think she's pretty garbo, to be honest. Because I feel like if the S2 is the most important part of her kit, it doesn't really do enough. It doesn't do nearly enough to really... I mean, unless I'm missing a very specific problem, I feel like the only thing this really works well against is like Conqueror Lilias. Although I feel like cleavers maybe will try and take advantage, well, not of this, the divination thing. But do you even need this? I guess she is pretty fast, CR pushes, attack buffs, but a lot of cleavers don't really need the CR push, and they also get CR push from things like, you know, Sashay or Summer, Viseria, blah, blah, blah. So maybe cleavers can kind of make use of this. But I guess I'm really focused on this thing. And I don't know. And even if you were scared of this, the other thing with extra turns is if you're scared of it, you could just not do the thing that gives the extra turn, right? Like Conqueror Lily, that happens a lot. Like, you know, when you're drafting Conqueror Lily, you can run into a Politis and it's too dangerous to open. You just S1 instead. That's another way to kind of deal with this. So, I don't know. I don't want to spend like 20 minutes thinking about this. I'm sure she has a use case, but honestly, in my opinion, I don't look at this kit and immediately think like, oh, this is going to be super busted. Because there are always heroes like that, right? Where they come out and you're like AOL is the perfect sample. You look at it and you're like, what? That looks freaking crazy. This doesn't look that crazy to me. I think the main problem is that Unbuffable is going to shut this down, or something that strips immediately after this gets put up. Again, Ran and Peira. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm not blown away by her kit. So in lieu of a should you pull video, I know I haven't done one of those in a while. Should you pull for this hero? Hell no. Even if the kit was good, she's an ML4. Remember, the pities are separate. So unless you're a turbo whale, it didn't matter what her kit was. ML4s, you should never pull on the Mystics for an ML4. Because if you stay with this game for a while, there's this dog shit thing in the game called Galaxy Summons. You're going to get a crap ton of them over time. It never feels like you're getting a lot of them, but you will. Over the course of a year, you get a lot of them. And the thing about Galaxy Summons is you'll never get a 5-star from them. At least that's been my experience. But you will get 8,000 copies of every ML4, so just be patient. Like, I feel like the only ML4 that really hurt to skip was like AOL, But if you're not really actively going for legend or whatever, you'll be fine. You'll eventually get the hero, and this hero, even the kit itself, I think people will just live it out. Live it. I don't even know. My brain's all out of whack. You'll survive without her. And also, she's an animal abuser. She decapitates bunnies and throws them around like she juggles them. So that's kind of, it's 2022. It's not woke or whatever you kids call it. All right, so not too impressed with the hero, other than her artwork. Her artwork and her S3 is pretty sweet. Maybe there's some crazy use case I'm missing. If I am, put it in the comment section below. If I agree with it, I'll heart it. But again, I don't want to spend 10 minutes theory crafting every situation with her. Hell yeah. Ancient Inheritance is coming back. I thought this content was going to be garbage. I love it. I think this is really good content, honestly. And I'm shocked by that because I thought I was going to hate it because when they first released it, I remember I think I did a video on it and I was like, please don't release more chores. Like, World Boss to me is a chore. Expeditions, I freaking can't stand expeditions. I wish they would just delete it from, like, the rewards are fine, but God, they're just so boring and so many clicks and stuff. But Ancient Inheritance, like, my guild Discord, like, we're like almost silent all the time, and during Ancient Inheritance, everyone's like talking and saying where to go and stuff. It actually did a good job of increasing collaboration, and the rewards are always pretty sweet. Did they show you the rewards? No, I guess not here. That's unfortunate, but the rewards are always awesome. Balance adjustments, I did a video on this separately, so we don't have to talk about it. I hear like they reneged on the Urvalin nerfs though, so I don't know what happened with Urvalin, but I heard that they backtracked on their buffs, or supposed buffs, the actual nerfs. Silburn skill 3, skill 2, I don't really... So I guess they just kept this kit the same. Like, I don't really know what Urvalin does because I never use him. I think they just gave him a mild damage bump and kept this kit the same then, if I'm understanding that right. Whatever. I've never seen Urvalin. I don't care what that hero does. Okay, you can watch my other video for all this stuff. I think I covered all these changes. Most of them are completely useless and it doesn't matter. I think Senya was the winner of this round, right? And some of the art, they made a toxic new MLDB, basically. Yeah, this thing's freaking toxic. This artifact, not even Urvalin's artifact is the winner of that balance patch. We have Flan coming, kind of an outdated hero, but people still use her. Everyone remembers the age of Flandy, and she's pretty good, but I don't think I see her very much anymore. Bologna, she's garbage. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. People always be like, what, she's actually good at Banshee. No one cares about that. Like, pretty much everything is good at Banshee nowadays. I have a 2-man one-shot team. You don't need Bologna for Banshee. And in PvP, completely useless. Rowana, if you don't have Rowana, this is actually a good hero. So this is actually worth it to pull on. Rowana always has a place in RTA with the crazy amount of counter heroes out there. She's a super hard counter to Solitaria, so Solitarias do pop up in RTA. This is like a must ban for any Solitaria picker, so it's always just a good thing to have in her kit, and she also trivializes a lot of PvE content. ML rotation, if you don't have FCC, FCC is always good. Silverblade Araminta, I love this hero, one of my favorite heroes, but she's also dog shit, you don't need her. DJ Basar, he's okay. He's niche, but he's okay. Like with the recent buffs where he can, kind of dunk on barrier teams, he's a lot more usable. But he's also not like... You could be legend without having this in your kit. Like, it's not like... FCC is definitely still the most useful and important unit out of these three. And this thing, time will tell. If I'm completely wrong, we'll just come back to this video and say, Squirrel, you know nothing. But from what I've seen... I don't think she's that important. I don't think that many people use her. I think she'll have a very niche role countering certain things. Unless the fact that her base speed is pretty good and the fact that she's fast, people might just use her as a cleave initiator. Because if you think about it, she's kind of like Rose. Remember when people used to use Blue Rose? If you use her cleave initiator, she's kind of like that, except she's faster, because she has that Soul Weaver RTA buff. But really really back in the day, people used to build really fast roses as like an X Factor pick, and having your whole team pushed up with attack buff, that could be a pretty scary opener. But nowadays, I mean, I don't know. Does she do enough to make it worth doing that? Probably not. I think the main thing she's meant to do is kind of give yet another answer to Conqueror Lilias, but I just fear that, you know, she'll do that and kind of just sit there. But with that said, I could be wrong. That barrier did look pretty thick, so maybe that barrier will be the X factor and you could draft her into a super tanky team and keep putting up these barriers. But, whatever. So anyways, that's my take on this preview. I don't want to drag this video out. I probably won't do a video on this because I'm not going to summon on it. If I do happen to, I'll save up galaxies from now. So when she comes out, I'll just blow a bunch of galaxies and hopefully get her. But I might not be able to do a video on this one for a while because I refuse to waste mystics on an ML4, especially one whose kit doesn't look particularly game breaking or anything like that. But if you do decide to do so against my advice, best of luck to you on your summons, and let's just wait and see. So anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time, boys. Peace out.